In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to read the execution log in Make, formerly known as Integromat, so you always know what your automations are doing, whether they're running perfectly or quietly failing in the background. Make is one of the most powerful no-code automation platforms available right now, and its execution history is the single most important tool for keeping your workflows healthy and reliable. If you find this helpful, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more people discover this content, and let's get right into it. The first thing you need to do is get to the execution log for a specific scenario. Start by navigating to your scenarios page, which is the main hub where all your automations are listed. Once you're there, find the scenario you want to investigate and click directly on its name to open it. Now here's where a lot of beginners get a little confused. You're not looking inside the scenario builder itself. Instead, look at the tabs at the top of the screen, find the one labeled History and click on it. This view is completely separate from the visual flow editor you normally work in, and it gives you a chronological list of every single time that scenario has ever run. Each row in that list represents one execution, complete with a timestamp, a duration, and a status indicator. Getting comfortable navigating here is foundational, because this is where you'll spend most of your troubleshooting time as your automations grow more complex. Once you're in the execution history list, you'll notice that each row has a details button on the right-hand side. Go ahead and click that for the specific run you want to investigate. What opens is the full execution log, a step-by-step breakdown of every module that fired during that particular run, in the exact order it happened, along with all the data that flowed through each one. This is Make's most powerful diagnostic tool, and it's worth spending time getting familiar with its layout. Rather than guessing why your automation didn't work, you can literally see what data each module received as input, what it sent back as output, and whether any errors occurred at any point along the way. One of the strongest habits you can build early as a Make user is checking this log before you touch anything else whenever a scenario doesn't behave as expected. The log will almost always point you directly to the root cause, saving you from making unnecessary changes to a flow that was otherwise working fine. Now let's talk about reading the status icons in the history view, because understanding them instantly will save you a tremendous amount of time in your day-to-day work. The first and most straightforward icon is the green check mark. When you see that, it means the scenario executed successfully, every module ran as expected, all the data moved through cleanly, and the entire process completed without any interruption. A green checkmark is the result you're aiming for every single time a scenario fires. The second icon is a yellow triangle, which acts as a warning symbol. This one trips people up fairly often, because the run technically completed, Make didn't stop the scenario or throw a hard error, but something happened during execution that deserves your attention. The most common reason you'll see a yellow warning is what Make calls an incomplete bundle. In Make, a bundle is simply a single unit of data being processed by a module. Think of it as one record, one email, or one row in a spreadsheet. If a module receives no bundles to process, perhaps because a filter blocked all incoming records, because an API returned an empty response, or because a trigger found nothing new since the last run, Make logs that as a warning rather than a clean success. It's Make's way of telling you the run finished, but you may want to verify this was intentional. Don't brush past yellow warnings, especially on scenarios you've recently changed. Open the details, check which module produced the incomplete result, and confirm the empty output makes sense in context. The third icon is a red exclamation point, and this one means the scenario encountered a genuine error that stopped execution entirely. By default, if any module fails, perhaps an API request times out, a required field is missing or formatted incorrectly, or a connection to a third-party service has expired, Make halts the run immediately and marks it with that red icon. When you see red, open the execution log straight away. The log will highlight the exact module that failed and display the specific error message that was returned. Common culprits include expired API credentials, a change in the data structure coming from an external app, or a module configuration that no longer matches the incoming payload. Resolving a red icon failure usually means correcting whatever the highlighted module is complaining about, then rerunning the scenario manually to confirm the fix took hold. One expert tip worth carrying forward: Make retains your execution history, but depending on your subscription plan, that history is stored for a limited window, typically around 30 days on most tiers. If you're investigating something that happened a little while ago, make a habit of checking logs promptly. You can also use the filtering options at the top of the History tab to show only runs with a specific status, which is especially useful when a high-frequency scenario fires dozens of times a day and you need to isolate only the failures. So there you have it. You now know how to access Make's execution log by opening any scenario, clicking the History tab and drilling into the details of any individual run. And you know exactly what those 3 status icons mean. Green for a clean success, yellow for a warning worth investigating, and red for an error that stopped the scenario cold. Together, these 2 skills make you a meaningfully more confident Make user, you're no longer guessing at what your automations are doing. You're reading the evidence they leave behind. Save this video to come back to the next time you're troubleshooting a workflow, and I'll see you in the next one.